Without dreaming, without any thinking of any concept, this show come to existence. Welcome to Body Minds in Keystrokes. This is a special page of Laguada's Learning Center weblog Eruption, which means the eruption of the senses. Technically, this show and the weblog is created Essential's first ever internet-based talk show and contents. And for this maiden episode, we have series of production, thus aptly and technically considered series of two and more. We have here with us the Instruction and Protocol Director of Laguada's Learning Center, Mr. Driven etc. Good day, sir. It was a quite shock and I feel awkward to ask you, how are you? We have heard that you have recently undergone a stroke. How are you now? How did it start?
Still surviving. I never thought that I will survive the grueling phase of hospitalization, and yet I am very thankful God giving me again a second chance. Despite the fact that I'm stroke, I still have the capacity and then the wit to teach children, young and old alike, in this privilege and a gift for me from God, the Laguada Learning Center.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. And anyways, congratulations because you have successfully built this learning center.
Thank you.
Okay, so I know that you're a very witty person, sir. So I think you can answer all the questions that I prepared.
Should.
Okay.
Okay.
So, why is it a wonderment as to why the center is focused on English language adherence?
Well, it's quite very ambitious of me, despite the fact that my English is really improved, effective itself. But it takes a lot of guts in order for us to put up a learning center with an ambitious adherence English language. I just realized after 42 years of existence that I'm very much equipped with the faculties of English language, from general semantics, enunciation, pronunciation, everything that takes in English language. Grammar-wise, to be honest with you, I'm still defective. I'm really not that perfect. But I believe continuous practice and continuous upgrading of yourself, we can attain and reach the almost perfect state that is very needed in catering to children in this language center. Primarily, English language is in need of our people right now. We don't need to go to the city to study in a very pompous institution and get English language as an important tool towards success. Maybe a lot of people we may have a back of an eyelash because they need exactly that I'm not really that successful. But I assure you, because of poverty and because of the need, and I recognize the needs of those people around me, I think somebody has to take the chance to create a certain center that would upgrade themselves, upgrade the community, and most especially upgrade the consciousness of our little children to go face the real world.
Okay, sir, so do you think you can accommodate different languages like Korean, Japanese, French, and Japan?
Well, actually, it's possible. Since this is not formerly Laguada Learning Center is Laguada English Language Learning Center. That's why I took away with the English language as before the learning center because one, I am open to change later on. What about if time comes that the people here are, well, by the grace of God, having this the English language learning center, they will all be competent and very much adept to English language faculties. So we need to go forward. We need to cater people from Korea, and so therefore the center must learn first and foremost Korean language or Japanese language maybe. As long that we are open to different language, even studying further the mother tongue Ilocano and Tagalog or Filipino. As we see Our center also caters on ABS-CBN broadcasting competition, and there are two components, three categories: the English, Filipino, and Hiligaynon. So the mere fact that we're learning center, it means we are very open, we are very we're welcoming other ideas just to enhance our module of instruction.
Okay, so why eruption for a blog? And why eruption? Do you have a subtitle, The Eruption of the Senses?
Well, eruption and the eruption of the senses. First and foremost, I really much attracted with eruption because as I've noticed, volcano when it erupts, there will sudden change takes place. In your skin, when you have these bumps or anything when it erupts, there's a change that takes in. When tumor erupts, maybe death or maybe a new hope comes in. Once something that it erupts, there's always a potential of growth. At first it may be painful, but at the end, it is sort of thanksgiving. We recognize the value of gratitude, the value of seeing other relationship which we thought never existed. Forgiveness takes place, and so on and so forth. Eruption, maybe it sounds bad to others, but eruption should cater on something, the burst out of emotion. In our case, we call it the eruption of the senses because when your senses erupts, there is a new awakening, the new rebirth. It should be the rebirth of a new person, of a new community, and maybe the nation of the country. We don't know the impact of the learning center to the community unless we try. We try with a good motivation, good interest, and of course, focus.
Okay. So, what is the strength you have to sustain and continually sustain and develop the blog and its pages? What are the future plans?
The blog actually, we're prepared. I am actually prepared that this blog will become community information bulletin for the community of Estancia. Though, in a bigger perspective, it can be also carrier for until the congressional level of 5th district. But I have already seen the potential of internet television as well as the internet reality TV. As we browse the whole internet, we have noticed that some cameras are used, but there are so many people in the trending that they use funny faces. There's new talents and they're being discovered in the internet. And I think that why can we not use the technology to the advantage of the whole society, make it suggest new ideas. And this is, I think, a very good thing that we have this because we can ask to real people, of real ideas, of real experience, and share it to the world. We are very much privileged that we have this technology right now to open Estancia to the higher heights, to the international community, to the global.
Eruption, Laguada, and Jude. How does it come?
Well, at the age of 42, one thing is my life is really a mess. But I came to a point that I erupted of that kind of monotony of darkness that I have underwent. I'm so tired of everything that people did not expect that I was there. And Laguada, why Laguada for a learning center? One thing is, I'm so blessed despite the fact that I'm really that bad, so to say. So the definition of other people towards me. I have this special devotion to the Virgin Mary. And Laguada is a derivative or modification of the word Guadalupe, Our Lady of Guadalupe from Mexico. It's the first picture of the Virgin Mary, which which she herself was able to paint in the talima of Saint Juan Diego. So I think it's very exciting that really Virgin Mary exists, and really the story of the Bible exists because the talima of Saint Juan Diego is already a manifestation that God really do exist, that God is really alive. So for me, to monument the time for my life that I really do want to change as a person, I would like to mark it and celebrate it with a learning center, sharing myself to everybody, sharing my talent, sharing what I know, just to upgrade not only me, my children, my pupils, my trainees, and so on and so forth later on. I think that's a very good gesture. I should give myself a self-congratulatory actually, because nobody ever in this world would like to put a monument or a it's a monument to himself to cater this kind of idea. So right now, I'm very happy. It's you, of course, who become a part of this vision, and even Irapsio, even Naguada. And I think it's more than that. More will come to the vicinity of the Naguada Learning Center.
Okay, sir, so you have already mentioned bad. You're a bad person. So I would like to ask you this striking question. Our researcher discovered that you were involved with drugs before. Or are you still with the drug thing? And before putting you up in the center,